Story 1. For me, it's that every time I see myself in pictures, I have to reconcile that the mental image I have of myself isn't the reality that other people see. I know that I'm overweight, and I like to think that I'm honest with myself about how I look, but every time I see myself in a full body picture, or my profile from the waist up, I realize that I'm bigger than I see myself, and it honestly hurts. Every time. Story 2. Many vices are hidden, secret. My unhealthy relationship with food is visible to every single person that sees me. It is often the first thing someone knows about me when they meet me and are already making judgments based on that before I've even said hello. Story 3. Laundry list of things. 1. Seeing photos of yourself. Feeling like your mirror is lying to you. General body dysmorphia. Generally, there is one unattractive trait that rarely anyone likes, and that is being overweight as a man. Dating applications are a no-go for mental health reasons. You'll be talking to someone, be upfront about your size and show pictures so they are fully aware, and still get left on the first date with, "I really like you as a friend." 3. Friends telling you there's nothing wrong with you and that you look good, which, when compared with reality, feels like a lie and that no one wants to tell you the truth. Going to the gym is anxiety-inducing. Everyone there is mostly in better shape than you, and it makes you feel out of place, like what's the point of trying? Then you do everything right and eat well for a while and exercise, but then your body fights back and refuses to lose weight, hitting a plateau. Trying to tie your shoes as an overweight person is tough. Your joints wear down faster. You get tired more easily. Creases, folds, washing in the shower and getting everything. Fitting into seats on public transportation and flying. General hatred of yourself after eating. In the moment of eating, I am happy, and right after, just tears and depression and self-hatred. And then I'll try to starve myself and go without eating for a while because I can't have a healthy relationship with food. I can keep going. Edit. Thank you so much for those posting support. I have been very depressed lately about my weight, and it means a lot. Support is appreciated, and I'm trying. I'm getting older, and it gets harder the older you get to lose weight. If anyone is reading this and is younger, start now. You don't get time back. Make the decision now to safeguard your health and mental well-being. Story 4. Sweating. I'm 60 pounds overweight according to the body mass index. I don't break a sweat around the house, but if I walk for 10 minutes and it's above 75 degrees, I'm sweating bullets. In my last job, the cafeteria was a 10-minute walk from the building I worked in, and after I sat down for 5 minutes, it looked like I was caught in a downpour. Story 5. Feeling heavy, bloated, and puffy all the time. I gained about 30 or more pounds over a year and a half, and it's probably the biggest I've ever been, thanks to perimenopause, and I was so uncomfortable just walking around. I recently lost about 15 pounds, so we're getting there. Story 6. I am a 59-year-old male who has lost over 100 pounds since 2021. At my worst, I weighed 341 pounds, and I am 5 feet 7 inches tall. I was suffering from diabetes and heart disease and now need no treatment for either. For me, it was the mental strain of realizing that I was dying and that every day was potentially my last. For the last few years before changing my ways, I felt worse each day. I knew I was going to die feeling miserable. It was not until I started to see and feel the effects of diet and exercise that I realized how bad the mental strain was. It was like I was in a mental prison, and I was the one keeping myself locked up. It is great to be free again. Live strong. Story 7. Loss of confidence is a big problem. When everyone around you keeps reminding you that you have gained weight, you start feeling very conscious and low. People need to understand that saying it does not help. I know I gained weight. I will only be able to do something about it when it comes from within. Others pointing it out just makes it demotivating. Story 8. The self-consciousness that people are looking at you and thinking about jokes. Had enough of it now. Time to do something about it. Thanks for the encouragement, everyone. I have bought myself a bike to cycle to work a few times a week instead of driving. I have also created a diet plan. I cycled for the first time today and felt so exposed, but I kept my headphones on and didn't listen to my inner chatter. Story 9. Besides the health issues, I think the judgments might be one of the worst things about being overweight. As much as many like to claim physical attributes don't matter, Most of us can acknowledge that they do play a role in society. A lot of times, being overweight is correlated to being unattractive, lazy, unintelligent, etc. I'm 5 feet 2 inches tall, and at my heaviest, I weighed 198 pounds. I dropped down to 145 pounds, and it was surprising how differently people, even people I had known for years, treated me. It made me wonder how many opportunities one missed out on because I didn't look the part. Story 10. Not being sure if you exceed the weight limit on something. Having to make sure it's safe for you before you get on or into it. I learned that even now, 60 pounds lighter, I'm still too heavy to ride most horses. Story 11. At my heaviest 376 pounds, the worst part was being the biggest person in the room, yet I always felt so small in terms of attention and respect. People definitely treated me like a burden or embarrassment when I was really big. Then I lost 200 pounds, and joke's on me, now I want to be ignored because I hate that people who treated me with disgust previously now treat me better. And I still have dysmorphia. I get told I don't need to lose anymore, but when I look in the mirror, I see myself bigger. I don't know how to trick my brain into not doing that. Story 12. All these answers are good, so I'll get a little more personalized. The loss of my lap. One of my cats is a large boy, not fat, he's a weirdly huge cat. He's not too cuddly, but when something upsets him, which is easy because he's easy to startle, he wants to sit on me to soothe him. Between how large he is and my gut, he doesn't fit. Watching him try to get comfortable and snuggle in, then giving up because he can't, is upsetting for me. I see how frustrated he is. He doesn't like being picked up and isn't willing to use my gut as a waterbed. The only solace, but not really, here is that between his size and how picky he is about how he's touched, I wonder if me being rail thin would even be enough. The poor boy's sensitive. Story 13. People ignoring you. When I lost the weight, I found guys asking me out and people wanting to be my friends. Even when I met my now husband, I'm terrified that he will leave me if I put on too much weight, so it's led to multiple eating disorders. Story 14. The extreme hatred for yourself. I don't think people understand how taxing it is to hate yourself all of the time. Even when you accomplish something like a big promotion, complete an advanced degree, or win an award, you don't get pleasure from it because you hate yourself so much. Even when you lose weight, you never lose that self-loathing, so the weight is hard to keep off. Story 15. The knowledge that my misery is entirely self-inflicted and that if I could just take control of myself for 1 year, I could entirely change it and live the life I have been dreaming of. But I cannot even last 1 day without losing my willpower. It feels like I have been trying to lose weight my whole life and getting nothing out of it because my trying is still wildly unhealthy since I cannot control myself. Story 16. I used to be overweight, weighing 350 pounds, and now I'm 170 pounds. For me, the worst part was being unable to do even the most basic physical activities without sweating heavily and needing a shower. I felt gross all the time and had night sweats almost every night. It's so liberating to be able to walk a couple of miles without breaking a sweat now. Story 17. When I was obese, it was incredibly hard on my body. I'm short, and I felt every extra pound of weight I was carrying. I moved slowly, sat down all the time, and slept constantly because I was so exhausted just from being overweight in general. I snored like a bear. Still do, but not nearly as bad. Was always winded and out of breath, and I felt like I lived my life for my next meal or snack. It was honestly just incredibly depressing. It had a much bigger effect on my mental health than I believed was possible at the time, and very little of it had to do with how I felt about what I saw in the mirror. I was in a bad place in my life for many reasons, and carrying around about 65 extra pounds didn't make things any easier. It's hard. People don't really understand just how labor-intensive it is to be overweight. Simply eating less and moving around more seems impossible when you already feel so weighed down just trying to live your daily life. Story 18. Growing older as a fat person. It was possible to be a young, healthy, able-bodied, fat person. I have discovered all of that becomes a lot harder as I age, and trying to lose weight is harder now. My older skin is much less forgiving when I do lose some weight. Story 19. How doctors treat you. They dismiss any concern and say to lose weight. On top of that, they never provide any useful help losing weight because of the myth that it just takes willpower. Story 20. I was thin throughout my youth, gained a bunch of weight until I was in my 30s, lost all that weight and have gained most of it back. The two worst parts of it are running into things. I never realized having all the extra fat on my arms meant I'd slam my funny bone into more things. I didn't believe I was gaining weight again until I started slamming my body into things I used to fit through, and now I'm just sad. I failed. I did the thing and it worked, and then I gave up. So, the worst thing is feeling like there isn't hope, even though you know there is. I've already failed, so what's one more day of not going out to walk? I don't want to spend another day eating grilled chicken. It just feels like being a failure. Story 21. Formerly overweight, my goodness, people treat you differently. People are so nice now, and to be honest, I'm also nicer. However, friends and family will change towards you if you lose the weight, and not for the better. Women like you more if you're overweight. Men generally and openly do not. Additional issues include knee pain, sweating, lethargy, difficulty finding nice outfits, and more judgment. Story 22. I used to be smoking hot. Throughout my late 20s until I got to be around 50 or so, guys followed me home smoking hot. Now I am heavier and older looking. But here's the thing. During my smoking hot years, especially the earlier ones, I thought I was fat and ugly. I used to make sure I had makeup on and my contacts in when going out with my ex-husband so people wouldn't wonder what he was doing with me. He was a good-looking guy, almost as good-looking as he thought he was. Now, when I see photos of myself from that period, I am shocked at how cute I was. Damn, wish I'd known that then. So now, when I see photos of myself looking fat and ugly, I think to myself, do I want to come across this photo in 30 years and be bummed because I didn't realize how cute I was? There's a moral there somewhere. Story 23. The myriad of negative assumptions complete strangers confidently make about you, accompanied by the smug implications that they know how to run your own life better than you do. Story 24. Appearance. I looked so bad when I was fat. It destroyed my self-confidence. Also, the fact that obesity can increase the risk of many serious health conditions is scary. Story 25. The obvious difference in how people treat you when you are above a certain weight. Like many American women, I have been a wide range of weights, and there is literally a number past which I can expect to be ignored or overlooked at best and actively targeted for harassment at worst. Finding clothes. God forbid I need a specific item of clothing with less than 2 weeks' notice. Especially since the pandemic, even Old Faithful shops like Old Navy and Kohl's have fewer and fewer plus-size options. Story 26. Typical doctor visit until I got a new doctor. Hurt my shoulder, you have to lose weight. Awful cramps and bleeding from polycystic ovary syndrome. You have to lose weight. Skin rash, lose weight. Having to fight for treatments and being seen as a human with complex needs beyond just being overweight. Being accused of lying by the doctor when I say I work out and exercise 4 to 5 times a week. Story 27. Immobility. I watch a lot of bigger people struggle to do things. I've lost 2 really great friends to being overweight. Both died before they were 30. I miss you, Eric and Eric. Story 28. I lost 60 pounds recently. It's the doing anything while fat part that sucks. Walking upstairs, standing up from a seated position on the floor, moving stuff around the house. All minor activities are just so physically draining or embarrassingly slow. Strap 50 pounds on yourself and do anything. It blows. Story 29. For me, it's the everyday discomfort. Sitting on banquet-style seating or stools is a nightmare to get comfortable. I also realized how uncomfortable crossing my legs has become. Story 30. I used to be fat and now merely overweight. Miracle drug. Tirzepatide. The worst part of being fat was the constant feeling of failure. Why can I not just eat less? How do naturally thin people manage it? Every time there was food around, I was on my best behavior trying not to gorge on it. And if no one was around to see my shame, I'd be pigging out. Turns out I had some internal hormone imbalance that, once corrected, makes me act like a naturally thin person. I no longer even want the donuts. I actually want to go for a run. People are nicer to me as well. Not much. I am a middle-aged, moderately attractive male, but noticeable. That just made my cynicism double. I'm still the same guy, you people. Story 31. Former overweight person here, male, 6'1", used to tip the scale at 325, now 160. There is a lot that sucks about being overweight. They include impaired health. I had 2 blockages in my heart cleared due to my eating habits and bad genetics. Relationship options, I didn't date for years due to my weight. People treating you poorly, I'm treated so much differently now than I was when I was overweight. Clothing shopping, men's big and tall store was the only place I could go, and feeling uncomfortable all the time. There is one benefit, though, it gives you a sensitivity chip that makes you empathize with people and not judge them. I'm a nice and compassionate person now, and I think growing up overweight made me that way, which works out nicely as an adult because you become more self-actualized and happier.